I I have no problem saying when I'm wrong. Um, if you were here, welcome. Anyways, welcome. Like, share if you care, and comment if you like. Um, I said I would only do videos, random videos from now on. I'm gonna try. I've been writing, um, so I'm just trying to redo that whole process. And no matter how many times you tell your trauma, like I said, I've been in counseling since I was 12 about that whole daddy situation, foster care, like all of it. And what helped me heal the most, I was surprised, was when I started 3 years ago, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, I started doing my stories, telling my life from my recollection. And you know what's funny is I prayed on it a lot because I had a lot of anxiety about it. Um, I still did, like, especially the dad stuff, going into foster care, and then telling some of the things that could be embarrassing. Um, I told myself I wasn't gonna hold back. I did have to hold back some because I was hearing and feeling that I was hurting people's feelings. When the thing is, no matter how I feel about people today, when you're telling the story about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, you have to express it in a way that it was happening then. So then, if I was upset, if I was hurt, if I was like, bitch, please, then I have to say it that way. It wasn't intentional, like, oh, she's been feeling all this way this whole time. No. I learned to let it go, especially because I don't have a lot of people that stick around for whatever reason. People do choose to walk away. My mom walked away. My dad didn't walk away, but because of what happened, we had to kind of have a 20-year gap where no no talking was allowed, or at first no talking was allowed. The agency, the yeah, I guess the children protective services and agencies, they were like, no communication, blah blah blah. I would get in trouble when I communicated with my grandma and went there. If I communicated with my stepmom, like, my allowance would be cut off for a few months. So, but I was like, I don't care. I had to see my grandma. I had to know what was going on with my sisters. At that time, I think I only had one, and then 2 years later, or 3 years later, my little sister came. So I wanted to check in on my stepmom. And I know this whole thing was hard on her. Anyways, the video is not about that. It's about, um, yesterday. Okay, so let me back up. My son's graduation was 2022. We were still dealing with a lot of leftover COVID stuff, and the school had an incident when somebody was gonna hurt 10 people, so we didn't even know that we were gonna have a graduation. The kids' sunrise thing that they do, senior sunrise, got canceled. There was a couple of other senior things that got canceled. We were still grateful because the year before and the year before that, those kids had a drive-by, like they had to come to the school and drive by and get their certificate that way because social distancing and all that. Now, there was no way around it. I was gonna see the kid's godfather, which is all good, and his wife. I wasn't sure if she felt some type of negative way about me, so I had anxiety about that. I had anxiety about the dad coming, and I didn't know how that was gonna go. I didn't know how I was supposed to act. It was so stressful because I had a boyfriend that was like, oh, you're gonna be around. You know, that whole baby daddy thing, can always get it thing, which is a lie because not with me. You know, we know we've been done. We had relationships, you know. I met his girlfriends. He's heard about mine. I think he did meet, yeah, he did meet Takari's dad. So we've been around each other's others, and we're both very respectful about that, and no boundaries are crossed. Like, we're not childish like that. But you know, other people get nervous and whatever, because we are Libra, and even when we talk, it might, to somebody else, might look like a little too friendly. We don't have hate for each other. Like, me and him are good. Even when we were fighting in courts and whatever, if we ever saw each other on the street, we still were like, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. We get over things. Um, so I had a lot of anxiety, not just because of the whole ordeal and graduation, even if you do the minimum, it's super expensive. I spent about $1,000, and tell me where? I don't know. Like party favors, I did get him a class ring with his initials. It has that he's a Pisces and his name, and I think his birthday. It has all that, and then his birthstone, and then it does say Juanita, you know. So that was like almost $400, and the cap and gown, and the prom stuff, the suit, the this, the that, and we didn't have a car then, so of course I had to have enough money for his Uber to get him to the prom and back. And that's when the person that was that sent 10 emails to people saying that he was gonna hurt them, you know. A few days later, after the prom, that's when the emails were sent. And Johnny tells me, I don't know, this little hair is just whatever. Um, Johnny tells me that while he was waiting for his Uber, the guy, the person, I think it was a guy, was right next to him waiting for his car. And because Johnny's kind of like, he's a very mellow person, he doesn't get agitated or angry. He, thank God that he has that personality. Because the kid, he talked to Johnny like normal. So when the email went out and the school was freaking out, they're like, oh, we're supposed to have graduation. We're going to have to move locations because we heard this person also was going to show up. It was a senior. They were going to show up to the graduation and supposedly do harm. So I had that pressure and that anxiety. And then there was a situation down the street. We used to live close to Evergreen Hospital. And around the same time, Johnny was riding his bike and he was trying to cut through the road that leads up the hill through the hospital with all the cop cars. And somebody sent me a link. Uh, the hospital, like there was a video put up, and I'm like, Johnny, are you okay? Of course, he's riding his bike, so he doesn't respond. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Then I had the anxiety of seeing my foster parents because I begged the Johnny, I'm like, I don't want to see them, I don't want to interact. Around that time, I was still very, very, very upset because in 2019, I needed them to take the boys from that crazy lady that had them so I can stay in a hospice and get better. I went in, I was in a wheelchair because I was weak. I just couldn't walk that much. I could walk about 2 or 3 steps and then I would feel like I'm gonna faint. I was very weak, very sick. For 3 months, I was in bed. Johnny took care of me. Um, so in 2022, I was still upset because I told them, I said, if you don't take the boys out of that lady's house and do your you put it in the will that if something happens to me, that you would take care of my boys. Like, what's the problem? I begged them for a month. I cried to them. I begged. I pleaded. So I just said, okay, I have to go home and take care of my babies. Thank God, God gave me the strength to turn it around. I was walking in no time. I was talking again. That's the other thing. I couldn't talk sometimes because I was coughing so much. So it was really hard. So ever since then, a little before then, I did stop going to the family function. I noticed that they took pictures that were up of me and the twins when they were little down, and that hurt my soul. Like, I was there for a birthday dinner and I looked up and I noticed the picture was taken down and replaced with another picture because there was a family frame. And obviously it still hurts. So I also noticed that they were like going for Memorial Day. I guess one of the sister rents out a cabin, or so they started doing that. And I mean, I wouldn't have gone, but I I wasn't even invited. I wasn't invited to Dina's son's graduation, and, which was at their house, my foster parents' house. So it wasn't like So I was like, okay, well, they're leaving me out, so why would I want to go to Christmas and, and just feel uncomfortable, feel unwanted, or, um, so there was a lot of feelings, but there was a graduation yesterday, and I didn't know if they were going to be at the graduation and the dinner. My anxiety 2 days before, it's like, oh my God. It's like almost, what is it called when you have trauma trigger? I forget, what is it called? Uh, Not ADHD. Anyways, I'm sure you guys know. So I get so anxious when I even think about him, more him. Um, and I definitely don't want to see that one sister. There's no reason for me to interact with her. She has this dislike for me. I never did anything to her. Um, I just heard a lot of stuff when they kicked me out. She was kind of like good, and I mean just real hateful for no reason. So I have, like, if I never see her again, it wouldn't bother me. I don't think I would get anxiety to see her because I didn't do nothing to her. She never said anything to my face, so. But with him, the husband, he's done so much for no reason. And if it hurts me, he will hurt my kids in a sense that, not physical, but just like when they could have taken them so I could get better at the hospice, and maybe now I would be doing better. It, it was a no, and it's like, why? Like, it just doesn't make sense sometimes the way that he hurt me in the past. But to and the person that I talked about the most when I was talking about the gossiping in that church, she was so excited to see me, and I felt kind of like a hypocrite. I felt a little two-faced because I just remember, I even talked to the kids about it. I've been to the kids now that they're older. And I'm just like, she would say just mean, hurtful things. And as a New Yorker, I feel like I should be able to take it. But growing up, looking back in some of my family interaction, I was like, I was never good at taking sarcasm or like the digs that the family takes, and we're just supposed to laugh and, oh, it's just jokes. It's like, that's hurtful shit. Like, you just took a dig on me, and I'm supposed to be respectful because you're an elder, and not say something back. Like, um, so when I was hugging her, I was just, like, right before I walked into the room, because I haven't been to the new church area space. My heart was like, and of course, the first people that came up were my foster parents. I went around the table because I was like, I'm not trying to hug him. So I hugged her, and then he came over, hugged me. I was like, okay, I guess we gotta do that. And but they actually sat down, and I was hoping, like, in my head, I'm like, I hope they don't want to sit next to me. I hope they don't. But they did, and it was fine. I know that I gotta keep my guard up because if I let them in too much and it gets to a point that I need them in any way that is like do or die, I don't know. Like it could go both. Like they're not, I can't predict that they will do what they say they'll do or what I don't know if they're supposed to do it because all my life, the only person, and it's sad because it's the person that I shouldn't feel that way, but the only person my whole life that I felt like they, it didn't feel like, oh, I have to do this. It's my dad. Like when I moved to Florida, I'm sure he was like, oh, God, to other people. But to me, it's like, okay, yeah, when are you coming? Okay, I'll be there at the airport. Da, da, da. Okay, you're moving. Like, gather up my uncles and their resources and got me a whole house between my uncle, Theo Luis, and my dad. They had a house set up for me before I moved in. They hired a cleaning lady. They set up everything and they put away all the kitchen stuff for me. All I had to do was come in. Even the beds were made. I mean, it was crazy. I did have like 7 big boxes, huge boxes delivered to my uncle's business. Before I got there, they got there like a week before. So I had those boxes in the living room. They're like, we didn't know where you wanted everything, but we did find the covers and we set up the boy's bed and your bed. And so, and when I had to register a Johnny for school, he drove me however many times I needed to go. And so, and you know, before then too, like I felt really unwanted by my stepmom. But he was the one that there wasn't, I mean, he was my dad, so, but everywhere else with who I, now the weird thing is that with my stepmom's family, when I was in the DR, I never questioned, like, I never felt like I wasn't part of the family until I came to New York. Theodani never treated me like a niece. I don't feel like, I don't know if he's just not warm or like, he's just kind of there. And so I never felt like a niece to him and her sisters. Some of like I don't know. I just never felt a part of them. But in the DR, Teotoni and Mama, Papa, Foforo, like they were my grandparents for real. Like, but after, of course, in foster care, it's hard to feel part of because you're not. Um, so yeah, it's hard to like feel comfortable and really be yourself when you're surrounded by people that don't think like you, don't act like you, and see you as a ugly duckling kind of, and you just there trying to smile and nod and get along. And so most of the time your personality doesn't develop all the way because you're just trying to fit in wherever, like You go here, you try to fit in. You go there, you try to fit in. It's like, so it's hard. But yesterday, I had anxiety up to the point that I sat down and I hugged a few people, um, and to be honest with you, like all the negative feelings I had about hope and all that went away. Like it was weird. I never felt, they say let go and release, and I thought that I would never be able to forgive or move on or feel comfortable around those people. Um, but I was shocked. You know, people were, and I could tell it's genuine. It wasn't fake. Like that's the thing. I could definitely tell when somebody, oh hi, you know. But this was real. Like, oh my God, how you been? And of course, people were like, you look better than what we thought. I just wonder, like, I know, like, I'm still learning about the hospice situation and this and that. Like, I had somebody tell me before I went in this time, like, oh my God, I know that that's the end. And it's like, please don't do that. If you have a friend that's sick, don't make them feel worse. Like this hospice situation this time was a choice. I was requesting for help just in case that the medication was gonna do me in. And, not do me in a way like, oh my God, but just like in case I needed a help, in case I was throwing up too much, I couldn't eat, or, stuff like that. So they would have the IVs there, they would have the nurses, they could call an ambulance if I can. And I didn't want to do that in front of my kids again. Last time Thakari was in Florida with Papa, so he didn't see me get worse and worse. Ajani did. And I didn't want him to experience that again. So I asked my doctor, is there an option for a short term stay? It could be a month, it could be 2 months. Now, I didn't know that they no longer had scholarships, so thank God that the first month was free with, with health care, with my insurance, and then after that, I would have to pay. I would have to actually give my whole check. Um, and I told him, I said, well, I can't stay after 1 month because, first of all, my kids need me, um, and second of all, I have an apartment to pay, and there's no way that I would even fix my mouth to ask 10 people to pay my bills and take care of my kids like that. Because that was what they were saying, like, oh, couldn't you ask your friends and your support team? No, I don't have that type of money, and I would be embarrassed to ask anybody for any money. Like, I don't, I mean, I had a friend loan me the money to move to this place because my other place, we found out that had mold in the wall, and I was getting weaker and sicker there. So we did do that, and she offered, and I accepted. I'm paying her back. I'm almost done. Oh, thank God. But I would never say, like, oh yeah, can you pay my bills for a month? Like that's 2, 3 thousand. No, no. Even if I had rich friends like that, like I, I would be embarrassed. But either way, I feel like I don't think I can add them on Instagram and Facebook because when they get together and it still hurts. Like I I haven't gotten in my feelings about the the whole Memorial Day vacation that they all take. Uh, it's almost down to Oregon, Lake Lake Lacey or something. And it looks like a beautiful home, the Air Airbnb or whatever. They take turns. There's like 4 or 5 people that take turn, I guess, year round. And I never been invited to that, and now I definitely wouldn't go. But it does hurt, especially when I see the other families that join and the kids growing up, and it's like, oh my God, it's so crazy. Like, I wish that I could feel comfortable around them like that again for the holidays, but I know that I could never do that. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, because it's like no man land. I'm just here. Like, I can't go to my family. I can't go to my foster family. I have 4 families and I have nobody. So I'm thinking, like, oh, I can't wait until my kids have kids. I see some of the families that develop over the years, and now they have like the kids' family, so the people are like the grandparents now, and they have their own thing. And I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm gonna be waiting for. I hope God gives me life and energy to see that, to have, So I did have a nice Christmas a couple of years ago. My ex came and we had our own little celebration. We got to do the pajama thing, and we even had cola. That was her first Christmas with us. Um, Unfortunately, I couldn't find an outfit that matched ours, but I did kind of like crazy socks, and so it was cute. And I was thinking that, that could be a tradition every year. We would do the socks and pajamas, even if we weren't all together. But things happen, and it didn't work out. Um, but it's okay. Maybe me and the boys could still do that. It's expensive, so, and it's just me, um, getting everything. So I don't know if I'll be able to afford pajamas and the socks, because I thought it was gonna be like, okay, let's $5, $10 thing. I'm like, no, every pajama is like $40, $50, $60. I was like, what? Uh-uh. For the matching family thing. So when you, um, yeah. Anyways, long story short, I already told you the long. I don't know why I keep saying that because I don't do short stories. But long story short, I guess the bottom line is that I was able to overcome something that I thought was gonna cause me so much anxiety. I didn't know if I was gonna flip out, like, get away. I mean, I'll never be that disrespectful. Um, I could smile and nod and pretend, but it felt good not to have to pretend or feel fake energy. There was nothing. It was super great to see my grandpa Aaron. Um, he definitely can see the difference in the age. I think it's been about maybe 10 years since I've seen him in person. Um, so that was hard to see the age, you know, the difference in the age. Um, I know he's like 90 something now. And I mean, it's amazing he's walking. He doesn't use a cane. He doesn't. So maybe all that racquetball playing helped him out because he looks great for it, for his age, but it's a lot slow. Like I didn't know when he was joking and when he was not because he looked so serious. So, but it was great to see him. And so anyways, this video is like to say that if you have a hard time letting go and forgiving people, and if you think you can, just keep praying on it and don't be hard, because I was so hard on myself. Like, why do I give so much energy to this? But I had to remember I was doing videos about it. So if you ever talk to a counselor about your past and anything hurt you in your past, let's say, and it's heavy on your heart, it doesn't matter if it happened 5 minutes ago or 10 years ago. You're still gonna cry. You're still gonna feel all those feelings. Memories might start flushing back, and that's what happened when I was doing the videos. I was shocked, even myself, on how vivid and like, I don't know how to explain it. How much I was feeling those feelings and visualizing it. It was almost like a projector, and it was playing in my head, and I couldn't stop the memory, the pain, the anxiety, every feeling that I felt then. I couldn't stop it. And it was so hard to get through those videos and to get to the point of yesterday of just feeling like accepting what is to be it, and just saying, I don't know what I did to this person, but it doesn't even matter because it affects me more negative than it does them. They live their life, they're smiling, they're living, they're doing whatever. And I'm over here just angry, just hurt, just like, fuck you. Da, da, da. it takes so much energy to be so involved in the past. And I think the reason that I was holding on to the hurt and the anger that the church and he caused me, I was using that as a protection because I said, "You're not doing it again." You had, I known these people since I was 14 and I'm 44. Constant, constant poking and hurting and for no fucking reason. So I held it as a, like after 2019, I was like, nope, F you guys, go F yourselves. I was just done. But because the kids are involved and they go there and they're telling me about their adventures and what they did and who was there, and it's like I'm happy for the kids, and I actually had to push my little one to get back into, because he was also after 2019 and figuring out that he had to deal with that bitch lady because his grandparents wouldn't take him. He was also like, well, fuck them. They didn't want me. I don't want them. So for like 2 years, he was like, nope, nope, nope. And eventually, I think one Thanksgiving, I was like, Dakari, just go. Just go. It's okay. You gotta forgive them. You know, I think that they regret and they know that it was wrong and they feel bad and they miss you. So, um, maybe it wasn't 2 year, maybe it was just a whole year. Um, but I think either Thanksgiving or East. Yeah, I think it was Thanksgiving. It wasn't too long ago that I kind of forced him to go to something. I'm like, Johnny's gonna be there. If you feel uncomfortable, let him know, and we'll figure out how to get you home. Um, and he went, and he was like, "Oh, no, everybody's gotten so big," and it helped that um, his sister's kids were there, and everybody gets along. All the kids are kids. So thank God for that, because that helped him a lot. Everybody was like, hey, Kari, hey. So just because I felt a certain way, I did not want my kids to feel any type of way towards them or the church and I know I can't do big dinners and you know, I don't have people to invite to do all that anyways. I used to have like friend along dinners for people that didn't have family when I used to live close to downtown. And then when I was in Florida, we did that too. There was a couple that helped us out a lot. So most of the time we celebrated with them. So it was really nice. Like, but for some reason in the areas that I have been lately, um, I don't know, people act like you're weird. Like I just asked a friend if she wanted to do lunch and a drink or something, because it's like people are lonely. I'm lonely, and it's not for the guy or anything like that. It's just like, dang, nobody really talks to each other. Nobody hangs out. Nobody like we need interactions. We're humans. Um, well, some of us, some say that they're AI and robots and all that. Who knows lizards? And I don't know. I don't get into that, but I know the people that I would like to hang out with are humans. But yeah, she invited somebody else, and I'm like, why do people like? I'm not gay. I swear to you, I'm not lesbian. I'm not hitting on you. Like I told somebody, oh, I love you so much. I took her out. I said thank you. I took her out to lunch, and we took a picture. And I guess my hand was like on her waist too tight. I don't know. I don't remember because sometimes I'm loopy and my anxieties, so I'm just. And plus, I had a big old margarita, so I was a little tipsy. That margarita was huge and strong. Um, so I might have tried to be like, let me hold on because I'm loopy. But like, she got no. Oh, it's like, be. I am not like I am not gay. I will never be gay. I would never be attracted to a woman like that. So, like, I'm literally just saying, I just want a friend. Like, after high school, it's so hard to, for me, it's hard to have a girlfriend, a friend, because it's like something always happens. And I'm not going to say it's them, because maybe it's me. I mean, I'm looking at patterns and I'm like, maybe I just don't know how to keep a girlfriend. I do get along a lot better with men, but unfortunately, my kid's godfather is just doing his own thing, and it's not the same. Of course, things change after people get married, and they're supposed to. So I understand that, but I miss our friendship. I I miss, of course, my ex-husband. Like, we could laugh for hours on the phone, and he had a girlfriend. Or I don't know. Supposedly they were married. I don't know. He never told me he was married, so I just called her the girlfriend. But she would be right there in the living room or in the bed, and we would just be talking for hours, laughing and talking about the kids. And like, of course, he's gone, so I sometimes I find myself crying because it's like I wish I could call him, and it's nothing like that. It's just you know. So, and then I had another friend that we were doing like Bible study and this and that. One day he calls me, he's having a hard time understanding his daughter and what she's doing. And it just reminded me of my foster dad trying to control my friends and how I was stressed and this and that. And mind you, I've never been a hoochie like dress wear. I never liked my body like that, so I was not trying to wear short. Like I wasn't like that. Um, so I kind of just told him about himself. I'm like, you need to get off your damn high horse and stop being so biblical. Like you trying to tell her about the Bible, and she's just saying like that she's doing hair or that she doesn't want to go to church with you or whatever, and you're in your feelings, you're taking it personal, and I just kind of flashed on him because I was like, I got to be honest with you, you do act like you're better than people just because you know the Bible. He did act like that, and he didn't like the truth, so he stopped talking to me, which sucks because we were doing like Bible study, um, and talking and texting off and on for like 4 years, maybe 4 years. And I knew him when I was in Florida. We went to Pembroke together, but yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, that's the thing with me. Like, I might hold my tongue for a little bit, but you keep pressing and you keep pressing, and eventually it is gonna come out and it's gonna blow. Like, it's a bubble. So if you don't wanna know the truth, and wanna if you want me just to listen to you nag about something, or go over, relive, talk about the same thing over and over again without resolution, or without, um, if you don't want me to respond, just before you start talking to Joanna, I just want you to listen. I don't need no feedback. I don't need no negativity. Okay, all right, I'll do that. But don't ask me for advice and then get mad when I tell you what I think or what I feel. Because that's what it is. I'm just a straightforward person. So, but yeah, I was shocked. I don't know if it's because my health is compromised and I see how quickly I could go down the drain, um, and get to the point that I need to go to a hospital or hospice, or maybe God is just allowing my heart to finally heal. But I was so thankful that my boys encouraged me and gave me the strength to walk into those rooms. The graduation, we ended up sitting alone, the three of us, because we couldn't find the other people. But we did see them, like we were above. Oh, there's the road that we're supposed to be on. But and they weren't there, so I was like, oh, I was stressing for nothing. But I was like, okay, it is their church, so they're gonna be there, blah blah. But yeah, I feel like, okay, from now on, I don't have to have those negative thoughts, those negative feelings. I could be in a room with them if need be. I know that my little one's graduation is probably going to be the next time that I see them. I don't see any other time that's necessary. So, we'll see. Uh, but yeah, it feels good that I didn't have those negative feelings because it only affects me in a negative way. I was drained just because we did a lot, and it was raining so hard and my son's car fucks up. So if anybody has any suggestions on anti-fog, I got him an anti-fog thing. He hasn't done it, so we'll have to do that today. So it was so dangerous. Like, he couldn't see out the back. He couldn't. We had to keep wiping, even with the what's it called, the heat on or whatever. To, like, even with that being on, and us opening the window a little bit, it was really bad. It was really dangerous. Like, I was thinking, dang, if we weren't here to help him wipe the back windows and the front windows and the side window, like, what? He just would have been driving blind. So, um, yeah, I definitely have to. We have to figure that out. But bottom line is, I finally don't. I don't think I'll feel anxiety anymore when I'm around my foster family. So that is a huge step. The fact that I, now I can feel at peace with my stepmom, I can be in a room with my foster parents. I'm like, this is what I wanted for 25, 30 years now. I wanted to be able to say, I forgave these people and I don't feel any negative, and it's real. Because you could say you forgive somebody just to feel good about, like, I got in my heart, Jesus in my heart. But then you see them and it's like, ooh, you know, you inside you're stirred up and it kind of recycles your thoughts and your feelings of them. And it's like, I guess I'm not over it. Like, how do I get over it? It was driving me crazy. Now, and I did forgive my dad, but I realized forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to be or be in that person's life or talk. That was a struggle for me because I really was like, he's still my dad. You know, if I forgave him, I should be able to talk to him. I should be able to be around him. No, because that type of trigger, it's a whole different situation. So I learned after being around him for a while, for a few years in Florida, and talking and seeing videos about him. And I'm like, okay, no, it's that trigger will never go away. Um, Especially because I don't feel like he personally changed. I see some of the looks and some of the behaviors that lets me know that he's still a sick-minded individual. So I can't be or deal with him at all. And that's okay. I forgave him. I moved on. I don't have hatred towards him. I just feel sorry for him because I feel like it's a sickness with him. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have control because I don't know. Like, I'm not like that, so I don't know what that entails. I just know that God gave me permission to move on and not feel guilty that I don't talk to him. Today is Father's Day. I'm not going to text him and tell him Happy Father's Day. He wasn't a good father to me. He wasn't a good father to my sisters or my brother. He had four chances and he screwed all of them in different ways. No pun intended. But, you know, it feels good to release. It feels good to be able to feel what true forgiveness and moving on feels like. I didn't know I was gonna be able to feel that. So I am just so grateful and thankful that, you know, like me and Johnny's dad, to see that forgiveness come along and the fact that we could tell each other's goals and ambitions and talk about the kids and laugh together, like that is a good feeling. So I'm hoping that if there's anybody else that we ever had a harsh situation or any trauma between us, I don't think I have anybody else, but who knows, that maybe we can work it out too and just, because I'm not trying to have any negativity as far as like gossip and just mess. I'm really just trying to focus on my health, very important, detoxing, losing weight, just reversing some of the things that I was going through. I'm already down one situation. I'm not gonna say it because I want to make sure that I have it down packed before I announce like, oh, I was able to reverse this and that. Just like I did with my vision, the pre-diabetic diagnosis. I've been working on myself, healing myself, and boosting my immune system, and just trying to be the best mom I could be. Most of the time, bedbound, but I get up to do what I have to do, and if I have an appointment, I just keep things very low key, one or two things a week, and that's been working for me. So I'm trying to get stronger, and I want to be here as long as I can for my boys. And between my cat and my boys, they just give me the strength. So I'm grateful. And again, thank you for the support that I have received on here. It's strange that, like, people that don't even know me, they're like, hey, how you doing? Oh, you look great. Oh, I like your wig. And so all those things really boost up your spirit, because in Seattle, it's very gray all the time. And I think it's starting to get to me. Like, I want to go to Florida so bad, but I also hear that, Florida's been hearing that they're going to sink forever, and people still live down south still. So, but even if it's 2 years in Florida with the sun, I'm like, and my people and the food, I just miss going to the grocery store and seeing all my food. Oh. But maybe I'm not meant to, like, with me being so weak, I don't know if I would be able to even do that move again. It was very hard last time. Um, but because I did have a lot more support than I think I would have now, that made it a little easier. Um, the hardest part was living with my dad for a whole month, like in a one-bedroom apartment. We had the bedroom with me and the boys, and then he had the pull-out couch in the living room. But and I'm sure he was like, oh, I can't wait for them to leave, get my place back. But yeah, I thought I could be around him, and all the triggers came up. So, but anyways, something good came out of it. I'm glad that I did put in the effort to see if I could be around him, because out of that, now I have a great relationship with my stepmom. I love my brother. I love my sisters. Um, the little one gets mad at me off and on. Like right now, she's not talking to me. But she'll call me eventually, and we'll work it out. But um, yeah, because of me pushing myself to deal with them and talk to them, I ended up building and having a great relationship with my sisters and brother. And so it's all worth it in the end, I guess. You do what you think is right at the moment. That's how life is. You can only focus on your efforts. You can't say that, oh, I did all this for nothing. No, no, no. It's always something. What you do and the effort you put into people and the energy you put into people, it comes back to you. If it's positive, if it's negative, it comes back to you. So just make sure you are doing your best to leave a good impression. I'm sure some people have bad impressions of me, but I do my best to leave good impressions. And that's all you could do. So, yeah, I mean, thank you for listening. Like, comment, and share. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Oh, an update on my health. I did stop the medicine. A situation happened with, if you guys didn't see the videos are down. I took all the videos down, and I'm just gonna do random videos here and there. But um, basically, in the last video, the last live that I did talk about what happened with the medication and the miscommunication. Right now, my caseworker act like he got a D up his, so he doesn't really communicate with me, and I guess he was feeling like I was asking him to do more than his job. So now it's like, well, I don't know what to ask you because is this part of your job or not? Like, oh my God. So it's very uncomfortable now to go to my doctor's office because even the person that checks you in, she has a funky attitude too. So, yeah, I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to try to do things naturally. So maybe this is God's way of pushing me to tell me, like, okay, well, try harder. Because before I was trying to do it with still eating everything that I was eating. And you can't do that. You gotta fast, you gotta juice, you gotta cleanse, and help your liver out because these medications are so harsh on the liver. And the doctors don't give you anything to prepare your body for the pills or even while you're on the pills. They don't ever give you suggestions on, well, this vitamin or this fruit or this vegetable helps clean, help the liver. Because between the liver and the heart, they're trying, the brain, everything. They're working hard to break this down and to pass it through. And, if you're into science and all that, I love to see like old videos about how they used to explain what does what in the body. Bill Nye, the science guy, he was cool. He would explain stuff in a way that you understood. So, but the doctors never help you with anything that would boost your immune system. Um, so I'm just kind of done. Like, I also am dealing with thyroid and what's the other issue? There's a couple of the sciatica pain, the shooting pain. So, um, but to tell you the truth, as soon as I got off all those medications, like I'm constantly checking my neck because the thyroid, once this gets bigger, your thyroid's up and it's inflamed and this and that. But before, like a year before, I was actually looking at this doctor that does all kinds of natural remedies on Instagram. And one of his videos, he linked his YouTube to it. One of the YouTubes that I watched was what to do to reverse hypothyroid and the other one hyper. So basically hippo and jaguar, because it's like one is super fast. The one that's fast affects your eyes, like Wendy Williams. She has that one. I have the other one where it's slow, and so he had different recipes and remedies and vitamin suggestions. So I have been taking one of the things that he suggested, which is like a high dose of vitamin D. I forgot, I can't remember by the top of my head, and I'll try to put the video up here, but or link into the community. But um, so listening to the Barbara, I think there's a lady that she also does a whole bunch of home remedies. She talks about different herbs, and I knew that remedies helped, and I knew that there was something for everything. But looking at these videos, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I taking all these poisons? Now, unfortunately, it's hard to find the real stuff, like the herbs and all that stuff. You can't, it's really hard to find those. And then with pill forms, you never know if they're real or not. Um, so I get a little like, oh, I don't want to spend all this money to get all this stuff. And then it doesn't work. But little by little, I have been looking at, there's a few pages, Holistic Allah. They seem to be very, you know, like real. I don't think that they sell um, any fake pills packed with grass or whatever. I've heard some people just give you grass mixed with whatever, and they call it a herb. But yeah, so I'm not all the way there, but I did cut out meat. I did eat meat yesterday, but I did cut out meat. I've been trying to juice um, and do cleansings like that, and just a lot of water. I even went on a 72-hour fast, kind of, where it was just liquids. And I feel so much better. With the medications, I was getting these real intense migraine headaches in the morning because it felt like all night my mind was running and I was having these weird dreams, and but I couldn't remember. When I woke up, I knew I had them because I felt like my head, oh my God, it hurt so bad. I knew I had them, but I couldn't remember them. So it was frustrating because I was like, well, at least let me remember them. And then the pressure of, okay, this pill I have to take without, even if I woke up hungry, I had to take these pills without food. I have to wait 2 hours to eat. Then I have to eat something heavy enough that even if I wasn't hungry by that time, because I don't drink so much water, that I have to force myself to eat something heavy enough to absorb this big pill. And then I have to eat again with this other big pill. And then I had to eat again with this other big pill. And by the time I was done with the strip, it was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Then it's like, okay, what do I take these with? Well, let me just do a bagel and cream cheese to hold it down. And I don't, I know I'm big and whatever. I like snacks, I like stuff. But it's hard to do that. It was hard to do it even in the hospice. Like, I couldn't take 2 or 3 pills when I first started at the hospice. At home, I had to do 2 or 3 pills at once. So that way, except for the ones you can't eat with. So that way I could get through the day. So all day, I was just thinking about pills. And if I had to go out somewhere, then I'm panicking because I'm like, do I bring a bagel and cream cheese with me? Like, can I afford to eat out and just take my pills with me? Am I gonna feel comfortable putting them? Because I don't just swallow the pills. I have to do something. And I'm not gonna do it on here because you're not gonna make fun of me. My kids already make fun of me for doing it when they see me taking a big pill. In order for me to swallow, I have to do that. So I'm like, I don't want to do that outside. People are gonna look at me like, what is she doing? um, so it's just so stressful. And I commend anybody that does it without hesitating, doesn't have to think about it. You know, I know some people are on a one pill a day, and you know, some people are even lucky enough to qualify for the shot. I think the shot is once a month. It's 2 shots, once a month, boom, you're done. I hope that goes well though, because when I used to know people that were doing the shots back in, they were testing them back in 99, 2000, um, it was horrible. Like it was leaving these big old knots, and they became painful after a while. It was just horrible. So I hope they had 23 years, because I think it came out last year, 22 years or 23 years to perfect it. So I hope it's smooth sailing. Now, don't get me wrong, if I was able to qualify, if I wasn't resistant to one of them shots, I would be doing it. I would try it, but unfortunately, I don't qualify. So, you know, the fear that went into before I started this medication was horrible. There is no counseling for this to prepare you mentally. And I guess because maybe not a lot of people have a hard time swallowing pills and staying on it and obeying and being good lap kids. Um, there's there's nothing for people like me. There's no resources that I just feel like the world and the HIV world kind of was already there, at least when I came in. But it just seems like, at least in Seattle, if you're not a man and if you're not gay, you're kind of pushed aside. Like all of us women or straight people are just kind of like, it doesn't matter if we're uncomfortable. Like when you go into the bathroom at the place that I go to get my medical care, it's disgusting. The posters and the information that's on the wall, I'm just like, why do everybody has to see how a person is gonna stick something up their butt? Like, can they just make pamphlets and give them out, or pay printouts and give them out to the people that need them? Why does all that crap has to be on the wall? Like, I'm so glad that my kids don't have to come with me to these places anymore. I remember when they were in strollers, and I'm just like, when we were in the waiting room, I'm just like, but there was just like a magazine, or, you know, it wasn't anything on the walls. Now you go in and it's like, just shove it down the throat. It's just horrible. There's no safe place for straight people that are dealing with HIV, at least. There's no safe space. They don't care if you feel uncomfortable. They don't care if you have kids. They don't like. And you might say, well, why did he? It's uncomfortable, period. I don't care who gets in their feelings about my opinion about that. It's very uncomfortable to just gay this and gay pride and this and that, trans this, trans. It's like, okay, we get it. You're in support of the community. But can we also have like, oh, this is a family support group? Like, what the, what happened? What happened? There's nowhere to go. But anyways, the video wasn't all about that, but that was just a little piece. And I did go, and my doctor was able to hear how I feel about her in the clinic, and she didn't have a negative. She just sat there and listened. And I told her at the end, I said, I appreciate the fact that you didn't judge me. You didn't cut me off. You weren't like in your feelings or offended, because I noticed the last time I talked to the counselor, she got in her feelings about me talking about somebody else. She got in her feelings, and I haven't heard from her that since. But um, and I was thinking about going back, like I did tell her. I said, well, maybe if I get the medication and the strips, maybe I could go back. But to be honest with you, after I got home, I was like, fuck no. Like, no, I don't, you know, what God has for me, it'll be for me. If He has 2 more years for me, 5 more years for me, I'm good. Like, I want, I'm going to try it as hard as I can to live as healthy as I can. And I'm not going to go in and do blood work. They say every 2 months. I'm not going in every 2 months. No. For what? Would you? So you could stress me about some number? No. If I feel good, I'm good. That's the way I'm going to live until God calls me home. My kids deserve me to be at peace and just living. I don't want to panic and have anxiety and have be my whole day be about a pill. I don't want that anymore. And I know I messed up to the point that I can't qualify for the 1 day pill and the shot. So that was my fault. Um, but it is what it is. I'm here now. Can't go back and undo that. So I just want to be mentally free from the doctors and the numbers and the blood work and this and that. I'll go in once a year to do blood work, and that's it. If I can't get a new caseworker, then if if somebody needs to talk to a caseworker, I guess that's when he'll come into play. I'm trying very hard to change. I don't want to deal with Harborview at all anymore. It just has a whole bunch of bad memories and bad energy, and everybody has a funky attitude. Even the people that check you in, how can we help you? It's like, what the hell happened after the pandemic? Like, everybody lost their sense of um, professionalism. Like, does the boss, do the boss don't come in and check in on people anymore? Like, why do people feel like it's okay to be that rude for no reason? You just walk in and you feel that. It's like, dang. So it's uncomfortable to be around, sitting looking at all the stuff in the wall. It's uncomfortable to check in. They still want you to wear the mask. Everywhere else in Harborview, they don't care. You walk in, you da da da. But the clinic that I go to, they're still insisting on this damn mask. And it's like, do you feel some kind of sense of power doing enforcing that? Like, so you choking, you can't breathe, you can't feel comfortable, and they want me to come in every 2 months? No. For what? So you could get your little check for seeing me? Get it from someone else. I'm done. I'm done being like a little goody goody girl, lap dog. It's funny because some professionals will make you feel like you're a they make you feel like you don't matter, you don't exist. And it's like, well, if I wasn't here and people like me, you wouldn't have a job. So, really, who needs who? And they'll always have people, because unfortunately, people are just like babes, they'll never go out of business because they'll always have new people. Just like Hope, they'll never go out of business because they'll always have new people. I'm glad to see that the energy has changed with Hope. So, God bless them and go ahead. But as far as the hospital and stuff, it's like they know. They know they'll always have people get infected. So they don't care if you have grief with them. And it's just like once my caseworker left, I knew that I wasn't gonna get anything that I needed. Like, she was too good. My caseworker before this asshole was just too good. And we actually was able to talk about things and work things out. She was able to suggest things. She helped me find resources, and she actually asked about my kids, and she cared. The caseworker before that, he was the one that saved my life. If it wasn't for Sikyo, I probably wouldn't be here anymore. Because he was the one that got me into the hospice. He fought so hard for me. And I feel horrible that he felt like I betrayed him when I changed caseworkers. It wasn't about that. It was just like I felt like she knew how to find resources quicker and faster. It was nothing personal, but unfortunately, people are human, and he got in his feelings, and I could definitely feel when I walk in, and if I passed him, or it was so uncomfortable. So it just became uncomfortable after that, and luckily when I was working with Nadia, like things kind of smoothed out, and she helped me so much. So between her and the Hopeland caseworker that I had, there was nothing that I was going through that they didn't have resources. They would help me call places and, help me get things done. And I wasn't overwhelmed. Then when I couldn't have the caseworker at Hope Lane, I was just left with Nadia, but it was still good resource stuff and help. And then it just went downhill. So the last thing that I had that made it feel like it was a good, I felt comfortable going every 2 weeks or every month to collect my stuff. collect my gift cards, get blood work, that was her. Because the front desk became funky after the pandemic. And now the check-in lady that brings you back has an attitude also. So it's like, and they don't check your weight. They don't, like, they didn't even take my pressure this time. So I guess they're like, fuck this bitch. She just talks shit about everybody in the clinic. We don't care. And the reason that I mentioned the weight was because I went up from 186, which sounds heavy to a lot of people, but that was my normal weight. Before kids, it was less, but after my first son, that was my normal weight. And after my second one, I went right back. But they don't weigh you, so I felt myself getting bigger and I felt myself blowing up. And by the time I checked, I was 310 because of the thyroid issue. Now, if they were weighing me like a real clinic does, they weigh you, they take pressure, they do that. Then after 20 pounds, I would have been like, whoa, hold up, you know. Um, yeah, I was dealing with so much, and after I came out of the hospice, that I just thought, well, I'm stressed, so maybe I'm eating more, maybe I'm eating out late, maybe that, but why does my feet feel like bricks? And that I kept asking. They never tell. So, anyways, long story short, it's just been uncomfortable. It's just been like, the other thing that I don't like is that because it's a training hospital, they don't keep doctors like before. I had doctors for 5 years or more. Now it's like you have a doctor for 2 or 3 years and they move on. And of course everybody wants to make more money and this and that. But it's like, well damn. Then you gotta meet somebody new, then you gotta pretend like they care about you and that it's like it's draining. I just want to go somewhere else that they don't know my business. Yeah, they'll see the records, they'll see the notes, but they don't have no pre-notions and attitude. Like, it just feels like everybody at that clinic has a freaking attitude. And I could give it right back, but I'm there to get whatever I could get and whatever they give me, because they do give vouchers. And I was hoping that they had the Safeway cards again, because I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat fast food, so I just give those cards away when I get them. But it feels like a waste of time to go there and not get anything now. It's like, where's my incentives? Because I have to deal with everybody giving me attitude, so the least you could do is give me something for my pain. But whatever. It is what it is. I guess I'm supposed to go on Wednesday. I have an appointment that I have to go pick up my little one's glasses. We're gonna go Juneteenth. So I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna give it a few months and go then. Give them their blood work so they can leave me alone. Um, and I guess since my caseworker doesn't communicate with me, I guess I'll wait to see if my counselor texts me or a nurse or the doctor emails me, and then I'll let them know that I don't want to do the medicine again, and I'm not coming in every 2 months to do blood work. I'm not. I might wait 6 months, a year to go back in. It takes a lot of energy to deal with. Like, I'm real sensitive, and I'll get off because I did not want to make this. I wanted to be under an hour. I really did. Um, you could say what you want about people that could feel energy more than others. I definitely feel energy, and it's draining to feel like negative energy. Okay, let's use a phone charge. You see how you have like 4 bars or 3 bars, 5 bars, or like the internet thing, 5 bars, right? So positive energy, you know, they give you energy, so you get a bar from them or whatever. But when you feel negative energy towards you and you're like super sensitive to energy, every person might take a bar. So by the time you get out the place, you have no bars. You're drained. And all because they wanted to give you negative energy. Like, forget about professionalism, forget about being neutral, forget about it's not about you, it's just I had a bad day. Oh, look, talking about energy. My phone is telling me I'm on 15, so I have to go. I have to go. But yeah, so going there just takes all my energy. And, seeing people that I don't want to see anyways. It's just like, oh, I really can't stand you. I can't understand why I can't get another caseworker. But even if I get another caseworker, I'm just like, who else is there? Like, I don't want to have to develop a new relationship. Now, I will if once I find another clinic or doctor, and hopefully they have a combo where they do case management and like they do there at Harborview. If not, that's okay. I really, I'm starting to feel like I don't really need a caseworker. I mean, they don't do anything that I can't find out on the internet myself anymore. Like they used to. They used to be very helpful. They helped you out with housing stuff. They help you out with everything. But now it's like, that's not part of my job. Huh? So, either way, all you can see is my little tiny hairs. But, let me see. I'm trying to see where you can see me. There we go. But have a blessed day, you know. Let go and let God. That's what the video was supposed to be about. Feeling the joy of true forgiveness. Now, this other stuff, the hospital stuff, is brand new, so it's gonna take me a minute to get over. But for now, it felt good to not feel any hostile animosity against my foster family and the church, and I'm grateful for that. So be blessed. Have a happy Father's Day to all the real fathers, the step up fathers, the godfathers that are there, and all that. Be blessed. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. I'm trying to say goodbye, but oh, wrong button. Wrong button.